This company's never been more profitable.
You mean hugely profitable?
I like it.
DavePorter.com presents The Profitable Cleaner, a podcast on commercial cleaning sales and entrepreneurship. The one podcast that's not afraid to discuss real sales strategies with real cleaning professionals that produce real profits and real results.
There you go.
Hey, Tom, thanks for joining me on the Profitable Cleaner podcast this afternoon, man. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, James.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tom, for simple introductions, man, for people that might not know, and I'm actually just genuinely curious, I did a little bit of research before you on this call. You're big out there on social media, but what's your story, man? Former Marine, TV host, kind of this brand ambassador of the Contractor Fight. Give me your story.
Yeah, so I grew up outside of Chicago to a dad who was a tile guy for most of his career, and I have grandfather and uncle that were in the painting industry and blah, blah, blah. And so I grew up around the trades and in the trades and went off to the Marine Corps, got out of the Marines, worked for my uncle for a while, ended up starting my own painting business. And, you know, we grew that pretty quickly and, you know, doing probably 300 to 400 projects a year. And I sold my half of that in 2012 because I just felt I wanted to have a bigger impact in the world. And I just, my heart wasn't there anymore, if that makes sense. You know, things were great, but I knew I had something deeper in me that I wanted impact. And this whole time I'd been coaching like high school football. I've been a coach at heart. And just because I want to have an impact, it's the most important thing to me. So fast forward here, 2022, you know, we've got the Contractor Fight podcast, which is actually the #1 show in the world in the home improvement space. We've got Contractor Fight TV, and between those two things, we do a lot of content to help, you know, home improvement contractors, and all. We work with a lot of commercial guys too. So I want to be fair here.
Sure.
Just contractors in general. Just get out of their own way. And we named it The Fight because it's the fight between your ears. And so that's led to us literally helping hundreds of thousands of contractors all around the world. You know, we help them lead better, build stronger teams, scale their businesses, you know, all that good stuff, man. And you mentioned the TV show. We had a little 15 minutes or so on a season of a show called Unfinished Business on HGTV, where I was the host. And we're not getting a season 2 to my knowledge. They just did the season 1. I guess they didn't like me. So that's all right. It is what it is, you know, but yeah, I live in Colorado Springs, just south of you, and just having a riot, man, helping people win.
I love what you're doing, man. And I think that's such an interesting story. And what I really like about what you're doing is the purpose from what it looks like you put behind all the content you put out there. Mm-hmm. At what point in your career, Tom, just being in the trades worlds, working with all these contractors, did you see that gap, the gap in leadership, the gap in culture, the gap in values? And when you were like, okay, I see the gap and now I'm actually going to go attack it and create a coaching program around it. Like, it's a really niche space. And in 2012, I'm sure there wasn't, or 2013, there wasn't many contractor coaches out there. And it's probably a foreign concept to maybe even some people listening. When did you see that gap, and what made you just want to attack it?
Well, I lived it. You know, I grew up doing everything I could do to get out of the trades because every every contractor I knew was tired, broke, you know, and all my white collar friends' dads, they were all going on vacations all the time and stuff. And that was my experience. So I'm just saying, like, that's what I saw. And so I just, as long as I can remember, home improvement contractors and contractors in general have just been, it's like, you know, go to college or you can always be a contractor. You could always go into the trades, you know, that was never, and the trades are a great place to be. And so I just saw a huge disconnect that started with our mentality. And that's everything we coach and speak on, and the content we produce is all about winning the battle between your ears, because that's, for me and for hundreds of thousands of others through the years that we've helped, it's literally the starting point. Like, you just got, if you don't believe that you have value to offer, if you don't believe that, like, so many contractors feel like they're less than their clients, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
And so
Man,
that's
big.
Everything in our world starts with owning your crap. Look in the mirror, and what are those things that are holding you back from having the success that you want and having the bank account that you want? And look in the mirror, acknowledge that truth, and do something about it. And a lot of it is, laziness or procrastination. Or for me, I had many years where I literally thought I was stupid. I rode the short bus in grade school for 2 years and carried that with me. And I was successful in the Marine Corps. I was successful in business, and I still was carrying this baggage behind me that I was stupid. And so that was some of the crap that I had to own early on, was just looking in the mirror and going, okay, what am I going to do about this? And so I decided to go to war with that. And I proved to myself over time that I'm not stupid, that I have what it takes to succeed at high levels and things like that. So we all have our crap, man. We all have our baggage.
Totally. That's relatable, number one. And I think it's interesting that you said, like, so many contractors believe that they're below their clients.
Mm-hmm.
Here in commercial cleaning, we hear that all the flipping time. And you got to think, like, a lot of cleaning companies also have HVAC companies, right?
Yeah.
Or commercial painting companies. So it's literally the language you're talking. You have something on LinkedIn that really sticks out. You said it's time to wage war on the mindsets that hold us back,
Mm-hmm.
right? At what point, so you lived this, you were in the contractor world. At what point were you like, man, I'm suffering from this broke mindset? And what was your first step on fixing that? What was your wake up call?
Yeah. Oh boy. I had a lot of wake up calls, but I think one of them was many, many years ago where I took my family on a vacation, and I couldn't afford ice cream for them, which I laugh now. I'm like, God, was I really that much in my own way, right? Where I couldn't buy ice cream. And my wife and I got no ice cream. We told the kids to all get Smalls at this place, or at some gourmet ice cream place. And the whole time I'm like, is my debit card going to work? Is the thing going to work? And so that was a big wake up call. I also think that there was just always an unsettling in me that just knew that it wasn't supposed to be like this. I look at the value that a contractor brings, the things we fix and the risks that we take, and, with people's property and their buildings, and, the pressure we face to, not just keep the guys going and on the schedule, but actually make money and give them a future and give them a great place to work and place where they can build a career. I think it just never felt right to me the way things had been going. And so, I guess it was around 2012-ish, 2011, 2012, right in there, I started doing what I'm doing now. And really just that mission to help us, stop stealing from our families. We steal money, we steal time, we steal memories, all in the name of providing for them. And so many of the things that limit us, and the number one thing that limits us is the way we think and what's possible. And I'm a contractor, so I have to play by all these rules that contractors have been playing for years. And that's just BS, man. It's just doesn't work that way. It's your company. You run it the way you want to run it. And when you work on building your brand, you work on fixing yourself first, a lot of good things happen. I mean, I'm all over with this right now because I get fired up about this. So pardon my bouncing around, but I've found that when I work on me first, we call it getting oxygen here. When you work on you, everything else grows and gets better. And so many business owners have that flipped, right? They want to take care of their guys. They want to take care of their customers. Everyone in the world's getting fed and getting what they need. And you're suffocating yourself. You're stealing from your family and this and that. And so I know from personal experience and everything I've done in the last decade or so, that when I feed me first, everything else grows. My relationships, my health, the bank account, you name it, the team, the strength of the team, all those things get better when I'm the example of what it means to take care of me.
I love that, man. That speaks to everything, or a lot, that we talk about on this show. And I know that there's a big gap in facility management when it comes to putting yourself first, because it is such a people generated business. Any trades is, and there's a ton of those leaders out there that the leader eats last mentality, and there's some substance there, but the leader also can't be broke, and also can't be depressed and overweight and all of this stuff. Man, I love the fact on the contractorfight.com you have your guys' missions and values listed. I think that's a very underrated thing, especially in the trades world. 2-part question here. Part one, how did you come up with your values and missions, and why is that important? And then once you answer that, I'd like to kind of dive into a few of these and how those came to light. But yeah, let's just start with why missions, why values, and how did you come up with them, and why are they important to someone that might be in the trades?
Yeah, well, we are, as far as the values, how we came up with, we can dig into them later, like you said, but we came up with them through just looking at things that were important to me, just how I want to show up, who I want to be in the world. And that's where our values came from. As far as the mission of the fight and this and that, I wanted something that was just more than, making money. I mean, I've made a lot of money, and I wanted to do something that was going to have a lasting impact, like I thought. So for me, I'm always about helping people win at higher levels, helping them realize the potential they have and not get satisfied with that success, but continuing to push on. And so, our whole mission in the fight is to bring respect and dignity back to the trades. And that starts with you being able to look in the mirror and respect yourself. And sadly, that was me for many years. And it's a lot of people right now where you don't like the person that you see looking back at you in the mirror. That you're not bringing your best. That you're not in shape the way you should be. That your marriage isn't what it should or could be. And we fall prey or fall victim to exactly that, this victim mentality that we're not in control. And so our whole mission here in the fight, like I said, is bring respect back to the trades. And that starts with the individual. We do so much work on the individual, so like our programs and stuff and this and that. It's funny, you mentioned my event that we just had up in Denver. People come there for business stuff and they walk out, committed to getting better shape and taking their wife on a date and, doing those things. In fact, family and all that is so important to us here that, all of our events are half price spouses. Like, we want your spouse there with you. It's a journey that you guys are on together. You cannot separate your business and your personal life. You can't do it. And the people that tell me that they separate them, I call BS on that, because it's always connected. And so yeah, and the values, they just, they're guardrails. They help us make decisions, from everything from who we hire to who we partner with to, for affiliate relationships, to the clients that we take on, to how we make a decision like, hey, how are we going to put this event on? We'll run that through our values and go, okay, if we're going to live by our values here, how would we show up? How would we put this event on? Or how would I handle this call? And one thing that's not on the site, because I don't know why we forgot to put it on there, but we need to, is I want to encourage anybody listening to this. Yeah, have your mission, have your values and all that other stuff, but really work on what your brand promise is. And a brand promise is, what is somebody guaranteed when they work with you? What is a guarantee that you have full control over? That's the key point. And so for us in the Contractor Fight, our brand promise is fanatical attention. When somebody's in one of our groups, they get all of us. We hold nothing back. And that is oozing out of us. And it's been that way for years. A lot of people will join other group coaching programs and things like that, never have access to a coach. People have access to over a dozen of ours. Your questions get answered. You can pick somebody's brain. You can it's because we know I want to be able to look in the mirror and go, I've done everything I can, and us as a team, to help somebody succeed, so that if they don't succeed, it's totally on them. Like here's the water. We're showing you where it is. We're leading you. We're guiding you, but you got to drink. And, and so that's what we've found through the years was we had been living that out, but we never put a name to that brand promise. And I know a lot of people right now are like, what, my brand promise is, we do high quality work. It's not a brand promise. Okay. Try to say something that nobody else is going to say. When I owned a painting company outside of Chicago many years ago, our brand promise, which is really a differentiator, right? What's somebody guaranteed? We formed ours around all the areas that contractors or clients would complain about contractors: communication, cleanup, all those things, everything except the actual work. And so our brand promise actually became nobody will pre-plan this job better. And I'm butchering it right now because we said it differently. Sure. But it was all about the experience instead of the work. And guys, I'm telling you, when you can hang your hat on something that nobody else is saying, that really, really will get the attention of the marketplace.
I love it, man. And I love that you're so upfront with these values and a brand promise, man. I guarantee fanatical attention. I love that. Might have to steal that, actually.
I stole it from somebody years ago. So there you go.
I want to talk about some of these values. Yeah. And the reason I'm honing in on this is actually, it's not ironic how all these podcasts shape up. So we get this feedback all the time, like, oh, you guys are different and almost a little bit weird, commercial cleaning, but you have marriage counselors. You're interviewing marriage counselors because guess what? Like Tom just said, you can't separate the business from your marriage, right? They're very intertwined, connected. I love the fact that you just said that. We've had these brand and marketing pros on here talking about mission and values. And when we look at the cleaning companies that just slay it, guess what? They have missions, they have values, they have brand promises. You talk about a few things in your value statement here, like own your crap, love it, positive peeps only, get oxygen, which we talked a little bit about, but you talk about roll the red and the long game. And we talk about similar messaging, but what does roll the red mean and the long game mean to you?
Sure. So roll the red is the red carpet to us. So if we're going to put an event on, what would it look like for us to roll the red carpet? If we're going to host a small event at my home, what would that look like? If we're going to put on a training webinar for our coaching group, what would roll the red like? When somebody joins our group, are they just getting a standard email that comes out, or do they feel special? So I'll give everybody a tool here real quick, since I was talking about the event. So there's a app on my phone called Bonjoro. I don't know if you guys have heard of Bonjoro. Bonjoro. And whenever somebody signs up for like our event, our Mile High Profit Summit, I had 420 something people there. I personally sent an individual video to every person when they signed up. Okay. Awesome. Took me a few months because people were, people were buying, we were selling tickets back in April, for the September event, but up until like the day before the event, I'm sending, a bunch of these a day where I literally pull it up. So when somebody buys a ticket, our CRM sends a message to Bonjoro with their email, and I can push a button, open up the app, and I can literally go, "Hey, James, it's Tom with the Contractor Fight. Just wanted to thank you for making the choice to come hang with us in Denver at our event this year. Really appreciate you making the trip. I know it's not always easy to get away. Can't wait to see you in a month or a couple of weeks," or whatever it is, right? And then you hit send. That's rolling the red. I could easily have done that in 5 minutes with one video that went out to 400 people that was a generalized video. Okay. So for a contractor, when you sign up a new account, or say somebody fills out a form on your website where they want to have you come out and talk to them about cleaning their building or whatever, what would roll the red look like for you if you chose to make that one of your values, right? It might be a Bonjoro like that, where it's like, "Hey, James, I know you got a lot on your plate as a facility manager. Just wanted to thank you for taking the time to set up our meeting this week. I just wanted to let you know I got it. I can't wait to see you Tuesday at 1:00. Have a great day." I mean, something that simple and personalized, I'm telling you, moves the needle and it elevates you in a great way. So that's roll the red. Play the long game is we try to make decisions that we're going to be proud of 100 years from now. And so one of the ways, so back to bringing respect and dignity back to the trades, we can fulfill that mission in our company, even if we don't ever charge you a dime. That's why we put out more free content than anyone on the planet for contractors to help their businesses. Because I'm playing the long game. I can't tell you how many hundreds or thousands of people through the years will join a program, come to an event or whatever it is, because 6 years ago they saw a video or heard one of our podcast episodes. They implemented something they learned from, or maybe they read my book or whatever it is. And when they're ready, they reach out for more help. So we talk to our team all the time about, we're not a transactional company. I don't care about this one transaction. I care about the long-term relationship with somebody, even if they don't spend money with us, which is really tough to do when you're a business owner and if you're just money focused, but we're impact focused. So play the long game is really about just, we're going to add value no matter what. And when somebody's ready, they're ready. If they're never ready, they're never ready, but that's okay. We know we did our part.
I think that's so well said. We call it think profit versus paycheck, long versus short. And it's such a easy thing to say. It's such a harder thing to implement, but any great company in any industry really does play the long game. I like how you summed it up. Make decisions that you're proud of 100 years from now. That's phenomenal. How important, there's going to be an off-base question here,
Sure.
but it's going to go to something that we talk about a lot on the show. How important is physical health and physical fitness to success? And how seriously should the contract industry, the trades industry really take this?
Well, just as a human being, you should take it seriously, right? Like we get one body, and our mental health, our physical health, our emotional health, we have to invest in that first. Like, my business will only be as strong as I am personally. My family will only be as strong as I am. One of the things my wife and I have in common, which is great, is we're both very in tune with our mentality, with our physical health and things like that. And we support each other in that. I've had periods in my life, and as a contractor, it's kind of funny. We go, well, I work physically all day, right? A lot of guys still work in the field, right? Owner operators or whatever. So I'm physical all day. That's not the same as making your health a priority. Okay. Sadly, a lot of contractors will blow off the things that make them happy. Like, I've played drums for over 40 years. I used to gig 6 nights a week and play studios and all that stuff. And I'm blown away by how many of us have blown off our hobbies in the name of building a business, right? That's not good for your mentality. Or you blow off your health, too many fast food stops and too much of the booze or the smokes or whatever it is, and you're not taking care of the machine. You will never perform at your highest level in anything if you don't take care of yourself. So, I mean, it's this past year, at our Mile High about a month ago now, I guess, it was literally just over a month ago. I got up and I shared how I was a hypocrite last year at Mile High. That's in my opening talk. I talked about, and I showed a picture of me on stage last year. Now I'm 53 now. I just turned 53. I used to justify not working out and stuff. I mean, I would work out, but not like really taking care of myself for a while. I'm like, I'm pretty good for 52. For a 50-year-old guy, I'm okay. But I knew deep down I wasn't my best. And I got up last year in 2021 in front of, hundreds of people. And I challenged them to bring their very best in every area of their life. And we talked about physical health and your money and your relationships and your mindset and all that stuff. This year I get up and I said, guys, if you notice, last year I spent the least amount of time during that talk talking about the physical because I knew I was a hypocrite. And I showed a picture of me last year where I was about 25 pounds heavier. I put it up on the screen, and this year I'm 25 pounds down because I chose to do something about it. And I'll tell you, I went out, hired a coach, not a personal trainer, but I hired a mindset coach, performance coach, and working with him for about a year now. In that year, my physical health is off the charts. My mental health is off the charts. The income personally and the income for the business is off the charts. We've really done nothing differently other than as a company. Now, I don't mean this is a slammed up our team. We have a great team. Like there's a lot of things that happen and things that they're doing. But as far as I'm concerned, I've done nothing different other than take care of me, and the business has exploded. So to say it's connected is an understatement. So anybody listening to this, get off your ass. All right.
Yep.
Eat right. Put the cheeseburger down. Quit going through the drive-through. Pack your damn lunch and make sure that you're taking some time to work out every day without exception.
And for those of you that think values and missions don't matter, look, Tom, maybe you knew it or not, like started off his opening speech in front of his own people at his own event by owning your crap from the year before, right?
Yep.
And owning up to it. And I had a mindset coach once tell me, it's funny, my mindset sales coach ended up becoming my business partner, Angel Sandoval, who could not be on this podcast today, but he always said it, you can never have the best version of your business if you're not the best version of you.
Love it.
And that starts with physical health because that's going to impact mental. And I know you're a big believer in that. And I think there's this stigma in the trades industry that there's two things. Well, one, I don't have to be in physical shape. That's not who we are, right? It's fast food. It's on the go. It's all this. And I don't have to be a learner because all I have to know is my craft.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of bullshit. And you help break those stigmas. A few last questions for you, Tom.
Real quick, let me say some of these
please.
values here. One of our other values is called earn confidence. And as a coach, if I'm coaching thousands of people around the world, if our company is, I believe it's on us to be the example, right? So if I'm not owning my crap, if I'm not a disciplined person and this and that, I will never call somebody else out to be that. And so that will limit the impact I can have in your life, because if I know that I'm an undisciplined piece of shit, okay, I'm not going to bring my very best to you with confidence and help you to be your best. And so we talk about that all the time on our coaches meetings here, just making sure that you are the example. And so those of you that own a business right now, you have to, take earn confidence, for instance, when you show up to meet a prospect. And I'm just going to say something here that's probably going to ruffle some feathers, but if the shoe fits, wear it. Judgments are made based on your appearance, period. You walk in the door, okay, and if you are obese and grossly overweight and your gut's so big your shirt can't stay tucked in and things like that, and you got bedhead and you haven't shaved or whatever it is, you are sending a message basically saying, I'm not going to have confidence in you. There's a lot of messages, conscious and subconscious, based upon our appearance. Okay. And I'm not, now listen, if you're overweight and you've dropped 40 pounds and you've been working on it, good for you. Okay. You're going to be a more confident person. So that's fine. Okay. But if you're not doing anything about it, that's a problem. And you're going to be less confident when you show up, and all the results that you want in your business, in your life, in your relationships will not be there because you lack that confidence because you're bullshitting yourself.
Yes, totally, man. That's a mic drop moment, if you ask me. I think that's so awesome that you can champion that message, because I think more people in the trades contractor industry needs to champion that message. And it's amazing that not just the mental turnaround that happens, which I think that's where the happiness comes from, but that's going to impact your bottom line and your wallet too. I think it's just badass.
It's a message that, we talk about this a lot, that if you want to build your self-confidence, you have to honor the commitments you make to yourself. Okay. So when you don't make your bed, when you hit snooze 8 times, when you don't go to the gym like you said you were going to go to the gym, when you go, okay, I'm going to call 3 past customers today and check in on them, and you don't do that, you only call 1. Every time you don't honor those commitments you make, you're sending a message to yourself that you're full of crap, and your confidence takes a hit. But every time that you stack all those small wins, we call it winning the moments, right? I got 3 of these things I'm going to send today. I'm going to send these 3 Bonjuros or whatever it might be, or I'm going to send 10. Then you do 10. And now I always envision it like a wall of confidence, right? Like every time I do something I say I'm going to do, it's like stacking another brick on that wall. And every time I don't honor the commitments I make, it's like taking a sledgehammer to the wall and knocking a few bricks out. Okay. And so most of the people that are listening to this right now that are not winning at the levels that they want to win, relationally, financially, whatever, building their team, I would bet my left arm that you have a discipline problem. That's where everything starts. Period. You can mask it. You can lie about it. You can blame the economy. You could blame your spouse. I don't care what it is. You have a problem keeping the promises that you make to yourself. And since I brought up the spouses, let me just say this, because I've been around the block a few times on this. A lot of contractors, man, I hear my wife doesn't support me in the business anymore and all this. You know why she doesn't support you? Because you're full of shit. You're a liar. Okay. How many years you've been saying, baby, we're going to really make some money this year. This is going to be different than last year, blah, blah, blah. And for the first few years, she's trying to support your ass. But then year in, year out, 6 years, 8 years, 12 years, it's the same year lived 12 times over. And it ends with you apologizing for the shitty year and the low bank account. And then it starts with you going, baby, this year is going to be different. Okay. You want your spouse to support you, then honor the commitments you make to yourself. Start with that.
Gosh. Yeah, man, that's so well said. And it's not just, in my opinion, too, when it comes to the spouse business relationship, it's not just the money isn't the only driving factor. It's the chaos we bring with it, right? The chaos, the stress, the bullshit, the not the greatest version of me because I'm stressed with the business and all of that just tornado effect that comes with it, man, I love that, man. Honor the commitments you make to yourself, and that's where self-confidence comes from. Tom, I think you just knocked it out of the park with value. I have two last questions for you. One is a professional one. One's kind of more a fun one. If someone's listening to this today and they're like, you know what? Actually, three questions, I guess.
Okay.
First question being, man, this is just awesome content. I don't even know where to start when it comes to getting self-confidence, changing my mindset. One, where should they start? And then two, how do they find you if they wanted to work with someone like you?
Sure. All right. Well, if you want to start working on your self-confidence, all right, simply take a piece of paper, write down, 3 things today that you got to do. I don't care what they are. Call back Mrs. Jones who's pissed at you. Okay. Or that facility manager that wants to hang you and your team because they screwed something up and they're pissed and you've been avoiding the call. Write that down. Another thing could be home by 5:00 for dinner. I don't care what the commitments are. Write them down and honor them. They don't have to be big things. It could be, make my bed. Okay. Like seriously, there's an old video rolling around out there in the world. It's like, you want to win, you make your bed every day. Right. Yeah. So I say all that to basically say, live in this moment. You want your self-confidence to grow, win the moment. What decision do I need to make right now in this moment? Okay. That will make me proud of how I acted or chose in this moment. That's as simple as I could break that down for somebody. And that's how you win the day. You can't win the day if you don't win the moments. You can't win the week if you don't win the days and so forth. And so we call that stacking the small. What are those small little things that I could stack and win each day? And I like to do these things early in the day. Now I'm talking about winning all the moments, but like these 3 things, I always pick 3 things a day that I need to accomplish that are going to move me closer to my goals. And I try to do them as early in the day as I can. That way, when I get hijacked later, it's not that big of a deal. I still know that I did the shit I got to do. So there's that. As far as finding us, contractorfight.com, thecontractorfight.com. If anyone wants a copy of my book called Winning the Contractor Fight, just pay shipping and handling. We send it to you free. It's about 130, 40, 50 pages. And it's in the hands of thousands of people around the world right now. And that's at thecontractorfight.com/book, which is also I think it's on the main website there. You can get it too.
Yep. Awesome, man. Well, we're going to link everything up below. We'll link up your LinkedIn and your podcast and all that good stuff, man. All right, so for the grand finale of questions here, got a black box and a white box, totally random questions. We never ask the same question twice. Once we pull a question, we throw it. It can be anything across the board, man. What box would you like to choose from, the black box or the white box?
We'll go the black box, and I just caught a glimpse of the black. That's Poddex, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's Travis Brown. You know Travis?
Yeah, I don't know Travis.
All right. Well, Travis is my producer for the Contractor Fight podcast. I was his first client.
Oh, there you go.
And
cool,
he's done over
cool
he's done over 1,000 shows for us, or close to 1,000 shows.
Oh, so, very cool, man. Cool. Yeah. So we're fans of Travis's product, Poddex, man.
There you go, man. He'll be excited to hear that. So
yeah, so we use it as a closing question. All right, so you said black box here. Here we go. Mm-hmm. If you were to die and come back as a person or thing, what do you think that one thing would be?
If I were to die and come back as a person or a thing, what do I think that thing would be? I would come back as me.
There you go.
I would come back as me if I have the wisdom that I've gained and I get to hit the reset with the wisdom I now have, hitting this life again. I'm pretty proud of the things I've done and accomplished and who I've become right now, but I would love, I wasted probably 35, 40 years of my life with the short bus bullshit and all that other head trash and money mindset and this and that. So I'd love to have a full life with the right mindset dialed in.
Well said, man. That's totally well said. Tom, I can't thank you enough, man. I know our audience got major value from this, man, and might have to talk about doing an episode 2 someday, man. So thank you so much, brother.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate you having me, and for those listening, guys, just win those moments. It's one choice at a time. Make the best choice in the moment and move on. And if it ends up being a shitty choice, recover from it and win that next moment and move on. Okay, it's fine. You're never going to go undefeated with good choices in your life.
Yeah.
So cut yourself a little slack, but also have a high standard.
Well said, man. Thank you, sir.
You got it. Thanks, man.